Hello everyone, welcome to PHP Machines. In this episode, we will create a quick save machine. So first of all, let me show how this machine will work. Say I want to save some information. For example, I found some useful article online and I would like to save this for later reference. So I can just copy the URL and paste it here. And if I click on save, then this information has been saved permanently on the server. So if I copy this URL, if I now close the page, and if I later visit the page, then we can see the message has been restored, right? So this machine can be useful, for example, if you want to save something quickly and you would like to access that information from some other device, right? So for example, let's save a phone number. If I want to save this phone number, then I just put my phone number and click on save. Now using this URL, I can open this page in some other device or smartphone, mobile or laptop, and as soon as we go to our page, we can get our message that we saved earlier. So now in order to create this machine, today we'll use few PHP functions. So what this machine is doing is the message we write and we send, this message will be saved in a file in the server, right? And the next time we visit our page, the information will be read from that file and will be displayed. So we need a few PHP functions. The first function we'll use today is file put contents. So this function will be used to create a file and write some message in that file, right? The next function we'll use today is called file get contents. This function will be used to read message from our file. The next function we'll be using today is header, and we'll use this function to redirect to another page. Okay, so now let's get started. The first thing we'll do today is we'll use a different hosting provider. Okay, this is just to show that you don't need to use infinity free. You can use any free PHP hosting services. So I'll use our space. The first thing you need to do is you need to create an account here. So let me quickly create an account. So after creating an account in our space, the first page you will see looks like this. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go in domain manager and you need to create a URL for our page, for our machine. So you have to select create a free subdomain, and let's name our website. So let me name phpmachines.atwebpages.com. So if I click on create, after that we need to go to our dashboard, and we can now click on file manager. We can see a folder phpmachines.atwebpages.com. We need to go inside this folder, and here is where our PHP files will live. So let's create a index.php file to get started, and let's go inside this file. As always, let's start with a simple hello. Let's just print hello. Now if we save it, and if we go to our created domain, created URL, which was phpmachines.atwebpages.com, we can see the message hello, right? So that is what we created. Now let's get started. So let's now start by building the functionality. So this time we'll first create the functionality and we'll add the styling later. So first of all, let's create these forms. So let's start writing our HTML. So we start with doc type declaration. After that, let's put the HTML block. HTML has head and body. Inside here, let's give our page a title. We can say quick save. Inside body, let's add the heading. So the heading will be quick save. After that, we will need a text box, right? So we can use text area HTML element to create the text box, and we need to close this tab. After that, let's add a new line and let's create the submit button. So input type equal to submit, and let's name the button save. Now let's save our page and let's see. We can see quick save, and we can see our text box and save. So our form elements like text area input should live inside the form tag, and form needs an action. So here we give the name of the PHP file that will receive our form data, and the method will be post. Let's close our form tag. Let's save it. Also, we can increase the size of our text box. For that, we can set rows. Let's make 20 rows, and let's make 100 columns. So let's save it. Now we can see our text box has increased. Now if I type in a message like this is a message and click on save, what happens? So we can see the data was submitted to save.php, right? But since the save.php file is not present, it gave this error. So the next thing, now let's create this save.php file. So here let's create save.php file. Now let's open our save.php file, and let's just print hello for now. Now let's see what happens. If I type in something and click on save, we can see the save page has loaded, right? It printed hello. Now what we need to do is now we need to give the input field, we need to give the text area a name, right? So let's give it a name. And after we have given it a name, we can now extract this value from our PHP file, right? So let's save it. Now this time let's print the text message. To extract the form value, we use $post and we give the name. So we give the text area a name of message, right? So let's save it. Now let's see what happens. Now if I type in something like message and click on save, then it prints that, right? So whatever we give in our text box and submit, that same message will be printed. That is what this code does. Now what is the next step? Now the next step would be, first of all, let's save this form data in a variable. So let me create a variable called msg, and let me save that data in this variable first. Okay, now after that we need to now save the message in a text file. We need to create a text file and save this message in that file, right? So for that we use file put contents function. This function takes in two parameters. The first parameter, we need to give the name of the file that will be created. So let's write message.txt. So this file will be created here in the server. And the next parameter is we need to give the message to write to that file. So we need to write this message, right? So I passed in msg variable. And after that, for now, let's just print data has been written. Okay, let's save it. Now let's see what happens. Now if I write a message, this is a message, and click on save, we can see this message data has been written. Now what happened in the solver? Let's see. If I click on go up level, now we can see here a new text file has been created, right? So how did this text file get created? The file put contents function did that, right? So this function created this message.txt, and what is inside this txt file? We can see our message that we submitted right here. Okay, now the final thing left is we need to redirect to the same page, right? So let me copy this URL. Let's go back. Now in save.php, after writing the message to the created text file, we need to redirect. So in order to redirect, we need to use header function, and here we need to give http header a name. So to redirect, we use location, and then we give the URL, right, like this, and we can exit our PHP file. So now what happens, after writing the message, it will redirect us to this URL. Okay, so let me save it. Now let's see what happens. So let me put a phone number, and let me click on save. We can see the server redirected us to the same page, right? So the final thing we need to do is in this page we need to populate the message also here, right? So how can we do that? For that, in the index.php, we need to read the message from the file and print it inside text area, right? So if we need to if I write something like hello inside text area, then let's see what happens. We can see that appears inside this text box, right? So instead of hello, now what we need to do is we need to print something from PHP. So I start the PHP block, and if I now echo hello, it does the same thing. So we can see it did the same thing, it printed hello. Now instead of printing hello, we need to read from the file and print the message from the file, right? So for that we can use now file get contents function. This function will take in a name of the file, message.txt. The name of the file was message.txt, right? So if we save it, what it does is it reads this file that is in the server and it prints it. So we can see the message.txt file is here, right? And inside this file there is this message. Now let's see what happens if we go to our page. We can see the data is shown now, right? So if I close this page and if I revisit this page again, the message will still appear because every time it is reading from the file and displaying it here. So if I now put in a different message like this is final message and click on save, the message appears, and if I close the page and reopen and then go to the machine, the message still appears, right? So the final thing now left is, why is this white space appearing here? The reason it is appearing is we need to remove all the white space inside this text area block, right? So we need to remove this space. Let's just put the PHP block, and let's clean up these white spaces, and text area will be text area. Let's put the text area here. Okay, now let's check our machine. So if we go to PHP machines, now if I give it let's say I want to quickly save my pin code, I'll save it, and if I close this page, and later if I open the page in my mobile, so I can still see my message here. So looks like the functionality is there, functionality is complete. Now the final thing remaining is, let's style our page. So in order to style our page, let's go to our index.php, and let's now apply CSS. In order to apply CSS, we need to start our style block inside head. Let me pick a color for the background. So if I search for color names W3 Schools, W3 Schools has a page where it has a name of different colors. This time let's pick this color, so light cyan. So in order to apply the color to the body, we need to select body, and for background color, let's put that color. Let's save it. We can see the page, the background color has changed, right? We can also change the default font. So if we search for web save fonts, then this page, the W3 School page, has a list of web save fonts. So let me choose Verdana. We use font family in order to change the font. We can see the font has changed. Now let's center all the elements to the center. So in order to center all the elements of the body, we use text align, and let's give the value of center. We can see our elements are now aligned to the center. Now let's increase the size of the heading. So let's pick the heading tag, and let's change the font size to something like 50 pixels. So our font heading size has increased. Now the next thing, let's style our text box. So in order to select style our text box, we need to select the text area, and the first thing, let's increase the font size to something like 20 pixel. We can see the font size has increased. Now let's add a little bit of padding inside. So let's add a padding of 20 pixels. We can see a little bit spacing has been increased. Now let's remove the outline and border. We can see the border has been removed. And the next thing, let's style our button. So in order to style our button, let's give an ID of btn. Now let's select our button, and let's first increase the font size to something like 20 pixel. Let's give margin of 20 pixel. Margin will add space around this button. So we can see space has been increased. Now Actually, let's make it little larger, like 25 pixel. Now let's add padding, 20 pixel and 10 pixel and 20 pixel. Now let's change the background color. You can change the background color to white. Also, we can remove the border and outline. Finally, we can add cursor. We can change the cursor to pointer. So what this does is, if we hover, then it changes to this hand, right? So the final thing we can do is we can also change the style on hover. So for that, we need to select our button and we need to use a pseudo selector and right hover. So this will only apply style on hover. So on hover, we can change the background color to black, and we can change the text color to white, right? So let's see. So now we can see on hover it changes the button color. Now let's do our final testing. Let's save something. For example, let's say I found some useful articles online, and I would like to save it for future reference. So I just copy these URLs and I just paste it here. Okay, now I can click on save. We can see it it's saved, right? So now I can close this page. If I open the page again, then we will still see our information. So the benefit of this is now I may open this page on a different device and I can still get my information, right? Okay, so this way we can create a machine like this which saves information instantly and makes it available in another devices. Hope you like this episode. If you like this episode, please like, share and subscribe. In the next episode we will create another interesting and useful machine. So see you in the next episode. Thank you.